Let's get it. 580 Sports Talk is live and direct on a Tuesday. Good afternoon and welcome. Thanks so much for being a part of the audience on the Sports Voice of Kansas, 580 WIBW FM 104.9, online at 580WIBW.com, and in living color on our video stream, our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk, our Facebook page, WIBW News. However, wherever, whenever you're catching the show today, just glad you've chosen to hang out with us here on 580 Sports Talk. My name is Dan Lucero. Spencer Dupuis and Brendan Dworzinski will be along a little bit later on in the show today. We have plenty to discuss on this NFL trade deadline Tuesday. It's just that none of it has anything to do with the Chiefs, because unless there is a late-breaking deal that slid in just under the wire, the Chiefs were silent on this trade deadline day. The deadline passed about 7 minutes ago. There was a deal reported just after the wire, and it was kind of inconsequential. The Chargers needed offensive line help. They traded for Trevor Penning from the Saints, who's not very good. There were certainly some moves of consequence today. If you are a star member of the New York Jets defense, you are no longer a member of the New York Jets defense, much to the chagrin of the only star left on the Jets offense. Stars, I should say, plural. Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall got to be in a text chat right now like, man, why couldn't it have been us? Why couldn't it have been us? I want out so bad. I want to play some meaningful football so bad. Breece Hall, poor kid, he's subtweeting like for weeks. Just wants out. Just wants to play for a team that has something to play for. And that does not look like that has come to fruition. Again, it is possible. You know, we do shows on the Major League Baseball trade deadline, and every year there's a deal or 3 or 5 that get reported in the 10 to 15 minutes following the deadline, because deadlines spur action. That's how that works. But for now, it appears that the Kansas City Chiefs have decided to stand pat. So we'll talk about their decision to do that, as well as the other moves that were made across the NFL today. And typically, if we're being honest, you don't have stars change teams at the trade deadline. That 2022 deadline where Christian McCaffrey in his prime went to the 49ers, those kinds of deadline moves are the exception rather than the rule. A lot of times, team shoring up an area of need with a depth piece in exchange for a mid-round pick. Not a lot of needle movers get traded at the NFL trade deadline. 2 of them did today. And to be honest, I don't know how much Quinnen Williams moves the needle with regard to the Dallas Cowboys, because I think their needle is just flatlined. I think they're just gross and bad. But Sauce Gardner to the Colts is very interesting as it pertains to the AFC West race. So we'll get into that. We'll tell you all the moves that were made today, any others who get in under the wire. But again, each minute that passes makes it look less and less likely that anything like that is going to come out. We'll break it all down here today on 580 Sports Talk. And I've got a leftover Chiefs thought from Sunday's loss to the Bills I didn't get to yesterday, but I think it's further maybe confirmation isn't quite the right word, but it's, if you have a feeling that the Chiefs pull their punches against the Bills in the regular season, have some more evidence in favor of that theory. Now, whether it is smart to do so, it's another conversation, but it is felt like the Chiefs pull their punches a bit in the Colts in the regular against the Bills, rather, in the regular season. And now they have 5 straight regular season losses for the Bills to show for that. But there is another statistical benchmark in your favor. So we'll get into that a little bit later on today. We're going to talk some hoops, college hoops today. The college basketball season is underway. Hand up if you're a Big 12 team and you won your season opener yesterday. Put that hand down, TCU. TCU lost to New Orleans. Not the Pelicans. the New Orleans Privateers. They lost at home to New Orleans. It's going to be a very long year, very, very long year, it would appear, for Jamie Dixon's bunch. Everybody else, the Big 12 won, though. Big 12 went 10-1 yesterday. Not all of them were easy. Colorado had to sweat it out against Montana State. I caught a little bit at the end of that game. But Arizona knocked off the defending national champs. That was good to see. It was good start. Good start for the best college basketball league in America and the second best basketball league in America behind the NBA. Copyright Brett Yormark. KU among those winners yesterday in season debuts in the Big 12. They shellacked Green Bay. We knew they would. Darryn Peterson was awesome. We'll talk about what we saw from the Jayhawks in their season opener last night, and we'll get more insight when Michael Swain joins us for Jayhawk Weekly. That's right. If it's a Tuesday, that means Michael Swain is joining us at the bottom of the 4 o'clock hour from Fog.net, part of the 24/7 Sports Network. We'll get Michael's perspective on what went down at Allen Fieldhouse last night, in addition to a look back at KU's win over Oklahoma State, which we didn't really touch on yesterday's program. We didn't really get around to that because it was a very routine and a very expected win for Kansas on the gridiron. But we'll relive that, and we'll get into their upcoming Saturday trip to Tucson to take on the Arizona Wildcats. That's all coming up with Michael Swain at the bottom of the 4 o'clock hour. K-State men's basketball debuts tonight. They take on UNC Greensboro. You'll be able to hear that game right here on 580 WIBW and FM 104.9. We'll run pregame coverage at 6 o'clock right after we're done here on 580 Sports Talk. The tip-off from the Octagon at 7. What are we looking for tonight from the Tang Gang? I'll tell you what I am most interested in seeing out of tonight's matchup. Plus, we'll have all our typical Tuesday shenanigans, Random Question Tuesday later on. We got 580 Sports Talk headlines, another round of What Is Wrong With You, all that fun stuff you've come to know and love from the show. We want to hear from you. 785-272-9429 is the number. That is 785-272-9429. You can also interact with us in the chat on our YouTube stream. Again, the name of the channel is 580 Sports Talk. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. We need some more subscribers today. We're trying to drive it up to 900 subscribers so we can do 580 Sports Talk karaoke for you. That's our stretch subscriber goal. You can get us one subscriber closer if you have yet to subscribe. I'm saying that word a lot right now. Subscribe. By tapping the subscribe button or clicking it if you're using an old-fashioned computer web browser. But go and subscribe to the YouTube channel if you have not already. And come hang out in the live chat during the show. We're live from 3 to 6 Central. The live chat is open. You can interact with your fellow listeners, be a part of the community on 580 Sports Talk, and interact with your host as we go along as well. Paul's in the chat, Christopher, Andrew, Mark, and Triple G into the chat. Good to see you, Triple G. To answer your question real quick, I am not solo for the whole day. In fact, I'm not even in for the whole day today. I got to step out an hour early. Spencer will be along. Brendan will be along as well. You'll hear from the whole gang, just not simultaneously today. It's going to be a little bit of an in and out situation, but I got something to take care of off the air that I will take care of in the 5 o'clock hour. So Brendan and Spencer will be along later on in the show today, but you will hear from the entire crew on 580 Sports Talk today. Vance into the chat. Good to see you, Vance, as always. Hop in, 580 Sports Talk on YouTube. Want to get your thoughts. Here's your essay prompt. Not really an essay. If you want to write me an essay in the comments or on your phone via text, that's fine. You can write as many or as few words as you would like. But I do want to hear from you today. Chiefs fans, how do you feel about the Chiefs sitting out the trade deadline? No moves. Brett Veach put his phone on silent and went for a long walk or played some video games. I don't know what exactly he did today. But what he didn't do is make any trades. Just double check my phone. See if maybe I'd missed a notification from ESPN. I did not. And we are now 15 minutes past the trade deadline. Highly unlikely that anything new is going to be announced. So tell me how you feel about it. Chiefs fans, you okay with them not making a move? Do you wish they had made a move? Let me know. 785-272-9429 in the text line, 580 Sports Talk YouTube, the live chat as well. Couple of thoughts already in on the YouTube, in fact. Paul says, and I think this is a sober-minded approach to the trade deadline, and we have no room for sober thoughts. We're here for the hot takes. But Paul has a sober-minded, I think, attitude about it. If the Chiefs didn't make a move, that's fine. Something to be said about an organization that believes they have the in-house ability to achieve their goals. But if the Chiefs are satisfied in-house, I'm not really sure what they've seen that they find satisfactory. Andrew falls in the category of fans who would have liked to have seen a move, says Chiefs should have added a defensive lineman at the deadline today. And again, if you want to weigh in, text line is 785-272-9429. So here are my thoughts on this from the Chiefs' perspective. Could they have improved the roster today? Yeah, they could have. They could have. I don't think that holding on to all your draft picks is the prudent thing to do for the Chiefs. I don't think they're in such a spot where they have so little draft capital for next year that I would have been fine if there had been an upgrade on the fringes to go get a additional pass rusher or to go get Breece Hall. Like the word was Jets were looking for a third rounder for Breece Hall. I'm a little surprised nobody was willing to meet that asking price. I am. I thought somebody might call their bluff on that. I thought the Chiefs made as much sense as anybody, in fact, call their bluff on that. But the thing about the football trade deadline, typically it's not the needle movers that get traded. And I don't think that the Chiefs would have been able to make a similarly appealing offer for, say, Quinnen Williams today, who's one of the two most high-profile players who got moved, however you look at it, whether it's him or Sauce Gardner's more high-profile because he's got like a Twitch channel and plays video games. Like he's a streamer and a poster in a way that Quinnen Williams is not. But Quinnen Williams is equally good. If you want to argue he's better at his position than Sauce is at his, I don't know that I'd agree, but I'd hear you out. Anyway, I don't think that the opportunity was there for the Chiefs to make a similarly attractive offer for Quinnen Williams. And I don't know if they would have had the salary cap opportunity to pick up Sauce Gardner's contract because he just signed that $120 million extension this offseason, not when the Chiefs are getting prepared to pay Trent McDuffie that kind of money at cornerback this coming offseason. So, like, the best guys who got moved, could the Chiefs have made those moves? I think the answer is no. Could they have done something to upgrade the roster? Yes, but I think you have to ask how meaningful would that upgrade have been at the end of the day? I mean, we have seen trade deadline upgrades that felt on paper like, oh, yeah, this is going to help the Chiefs quite a bit. Joshua Uche, come on down. And that didn't really work out, right? So it's not as simple. It's not like the baseball trade deadline where you get a guy and it's like, hey, yeah, you're batting fifth and playing first base tonight. Go out there and rake for 2 months. Do what you do. You know, we got a reliever. You're going to pitch the eighth inning tonight, and every time we have a lead, that's the job. Like, there's no playbook to go study. There's no feat you have to find as far as your place on the team, your role in the offense or the defense. The acclimation period can be a little bit more difficult, and it's well known, well renowned. Andy Reid runs tough practices. Andy Reid wants a well-conditioned team. Andy Reid likes having the guys that he's had from start to finish. And Andy Reid runs largely complicated offense. Terminology can be a bit complicated. So it's not as easy as just plugging a guy in like it's a video game. So I understand if there's hesitance in that regard for the Chiefs not to make a move. I'm arguing in favor of what actually happened today in this instance. That, I think, is the case for not doing anything. And the other, which Paul brushed up against in his comment on YouTube, is that you think you've got the answers for whatever is ailing you already on the roster. I think one could interpret today's inaction by the Chiefs as a positive sign for how they view their injury situation. That they don't believe that Isaiah Pacheco is going to be out real long and they like him as their number one running back. That they aren't worried about Trey Smith's back or Jawan Taylor's ankle or whatever was ailing Kingsley Suamataia at the end of the Bills game, or Josh Simmons' ability to reacclimate after missing the last month, tending to a private matter. If they were, they probably could have upgraded on Wanye Morris as offensive tackle number 4 for a song. Like, they saw what that looked like. They don't want that to happen again. But at the same time, the guys who were available who would have been meaningful upgrades are probably guys you're going to have to trade capital that would typically be used to get a player who's going to be more than offensive tackle number 4. Like, there was a rumor out there that the Commanders were willing to move on from Andrew Wiley. And obviously, he's got history with the Chiefs, Super Bowl champion, started a Super Bowl at right tackle. Good player, Andrew Wiley, has been in his career. Would he be an upgrade over Wanye Morris as offensive tackle number 4? Absolutely. But are you willing to pay whatever the Commanders were asking in terms of a draft pick for offensive tackle number 4? Or would you rather maybe keep your powder dry for the NFL draft? I can't blame Brett Veach for deciding not to make a marginal trade today, because that's what that would have been. And again, you can interpret the inaction today as belief that that health situation is going to work itself out. Like, if they were really worried about Jawan Taylor's ankle long term, or they thought that Josh Simmons wasn't going to be able to get back in the groove, or that Trey Smith's back was a real problem, maybe they call on an extra guard. Maybe they call on an extra swing offensive lineman. There was also a rumor the Commanders were interested in moving Nick Allegretti, another guy with some history with the Chiefs. That neither of those things came to fruition, but I think that's another one way to read it. That being said, I still believe the Chiefs missed an opportunity to improve their running back room today. That's the move I would have made. That's the move I think could have helped the Chiefs. Breece Hall for a 3rd-round pick, if that was the asking price, even for a rental, I think you do it. I think that makes you better. I think that upgrades your running back room, which is not good. Like, I think the long-term outlook for Brashard Smith is positive. I don't know if he's ever going to be RB1, but I think he's an NFL player. Wouldn't you rather have Breece Hall? Like, I don't know. I would rather have somebody whose carries I don't have to manage, because they obviously feel like they have to manage Kareem Hunt's carries because they didn't really run him all that much against Buffalo. I would rather have somebody without the multiple year injury history now that Isaiah Pacheco is stacking up. Yeah, I know Breece Hall had the torn ACL, but he's been back from that for a year and change now. That's the move I would have made. And I am a little surprised that the Chiefs weren't more aggressive. But the other factor in this, and again, this is something Paul kind of alluded to in his YouTube comment, which is why I thought it was a good comment and why I led with it. How you approach the trade deadline sends a message. These are human beings you're dealing with. And you want to, as a front office, send a message to your players. We believe that you can win. Buying at the trade deadline, if you're adding, that sends a message. We think we can win. We think we need some outside help. We're going to bring this player in. He's going to help us win. That's a good signal to send your locker room. Unambiguously, good thing, a good attitude to have. But how does that go over for the 3-time defending AFC champions who, even out of the Bills' loss, are still moving with a great deal of confidence? Like that, you go watch the post-game press conferences, the locker room footage from that game. That was a very unbothered football team. And maybe Brett Veach felt like, hey, if we bring somebody aboard, like we've already, they brought Mike Pennell back, which excited the team. But if we go out and we do something more than that, maybe we're sending a signal that we don't believe this team can win. That we don't think these 3-time champs are good enough. Devil's advocate, frankly, because I don't think that that's how this locker room would have taken it. But you wonder if that was part of the calculus too. Anyway, there's a lot that goes into making a move, not making a move. It's not as simple as playing GM mode on Madden. But at the end of the day, I fall in the category of, I think they should have upgraded their running back room. And the upgrade to make was Breece Hall, and they missed their chance. That was the upgrade. Like, they weren't going to go and get anybody. Like, maybe a couple of weeks ago, before Cam Scadaboo's ankle snapped into a gazillion pieces. They might have been able to pry like Devin Singletary out of New York. And I don't think he's an awesome player, but he would have been an upgrade at running back number 3. And I say this as somebody who has a good long-term outlook for Brashard Smith. There was the opportunity to upgrade today. I believe that a third-round pick would have been worth it for Breece Hall. I do. The Chiefs didn't. And that's why they stood pat on this trade deadline Tuesday. The moves that did get made, in case you missed any of these. The big ones, obviously, the Jets trading 2 of their defensive stars, Sauce Gardner, who they just signed this offseason to a 4-year, $120-odd million extension. He gets traded to the Indianapolis Colts for a pair of first-round picks and wide receiver A.D. Mitchell, who's played like 20 total snaps since he dropped the ball trying to score that touchdown, whatever game that was, and he was about to cross the goal line, he dropped the ball. Yeah, he was persona non grata there in Indianapolis after that. They're happy to be rid of him. 2 first-round picks at the end of the day for Sauce Gardner. That's a lot. Sauce is really good, but that's a lot. Quinnen Williams also on the move. He goes to the Cowboys. Cowboys trade their second-round pick next year. And the worst of their pick and the Packers pick in the first round in 2027. I guess not the worst, the lowest. So whichever team finishes better in the standings has the lowest first-round pick. That's the pick that'll go to the Jets. The Jets also get Mozzie Smith, defensive tackle that the Cowboys took in the first round 2 years ago and never really found any traction. He goes to the Jets as well. So the Jets find themselves with 5 first-round picks in the next 2 drafts. And that's really, really impressive until you remember they're the Jets and they'll screw it up. Because do you remember who they've taken with first-round picks in recent memory? Quinnen Williams and Sauce Gardner. And how much winning did those guys contribute to? None, because they're the Jets. Now, you could look at this in a normal time frame and say, well, you stack first-round picks. Gives you an opportunity to either get the number 1 or trade up for the number 1. Go get your quarterback of the future, because quarterback of the future for the Jets is obviously not on their roster. Who's the QB1 in this draft next year? Are you telling me they're tanking for Fernando Mendoza, Indiana's quarterback? I like Fernando Mendoza. I've never watched him and felt like, oh, yeah, that's franchise QB1 right there. That's the guy. I don't know that there's a single quarterback in this class of QBs who feels that way to me. This feels a lot like the 2021 draft class where Pickett was the only first-round pick, and you had teams trying to talk themselves into Malik Willis and all those guys, and the only one to pan out was the last pick of the whole draft, Brock Purdy. That's what this quarterback class is. So if the Jets are trying to figure out how to get a quarterback in this draft class, good freaking luck. You going to trade up for Carson Beck? You don't need to trade up for him. I don't understand it from that perspective. That's what the Jets are doing. If they are entering tank mode so they can try to find their QB of the future, I just don't know who that is in this year's class, and I'm not entirely sure he's in next year's class either. So the Jets are just saying, all right, yeah, we're just going to stink. We're going to be lousy the rest of this year. We're going to be lousy probably next year too. That's just going to be what it is. And then maybe we'll draft guys as good as Sauce Gardner and Quinnen Williams with these 5 first-round picks, so we can trade them again in 4 years. Get no winning, accomplish nothing of consequence with those guys because we're the Jets. Other moves today. Dallas also brought in Cincinnati linebacker Logan Wilson for a 7th-round pick. Obviously, the Cowboys wanting to address what has been a porous defense this year. They got lit up by Jacoby Brissett last night on Monday Night Football. Logan Wilson's always been a fine player. He's exactly the kind of player you're like, oh, that guy, I know that name. More famous than good, which describes like half the Cowboys roster at any given time. Disgruntled wide receiver Jacoby Myers, long wanted out of Las Vegas. He got his wish today. Jacksonville, who was dying for receiver depth, acquired Myers today in exchange for a 4th-round pick and a 6th-round pick. I think he might be their best receiver immediately. Brian Thomas is just a go-route merchant, and they don't seem to know what to do with Travis Hunter, who's hurt anyway. Jacoby Myers might be the best target that Trevor Lawrence has there in Jacksonville. The Seahawks added a deep threat. Rashid Shaheed goes from New Orleans to Seattle in exchange for a 4th-round pick and a 5th-round pick. I think that's a little steep for a rental who can really only do one thing, but it's the thing the Seahawks need. They do not have a field stretcher. They have JSN, who's a superstar, but they don't have anybody to line up on the opposite side that teams really have to respect. Cooper Kupp is washed, which I could have told the Seahawks before the season and saved them a lot of time and some money, but he's washed and always hurt. Torrey Horton I like, but he's more of a wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4 type. Shaheed gives the Seahawks a downfield threat. And more importantly, he gives the quarterback who's been the best in the league at throwing the deep ball this year a legitimate deep threat. It's a good ad for the Seahawks. The Bears added Joe Tryon-Shoyinka. Okay. I don't have a lot to say about that one. I mentioned Trevor Penning going from the Saints to the Chargers. Chargers don't need bodies on the offensive line, even if they aren't particularly good at football, and I've never thought Penning was all that good. That's the summation of the moves today. None of them made by the Chiefs, and I think that's a missed opportunity, particularly at running back. We'll take a timeout. Want to hear again what you think about the Chiefs in action on the trade deadline day in the NFL. Hit me up on the text line, 785-272-9429. You can also get me in the YouTube comments on our live chat, our live stream, 580 Sports Talk on YouTube. I've got a stray Chiefs thought from Sunday's game. Going to talk some K-State hoops. Going to talk some KU hoops. Michael Swain joins us bottom of the 4 o'clock hour. We are going to have a lot of good times today on this Tuesday edition of 580 Sports Talk. So glad you're with us on WIBW. 3:36 on 580 Sports Talk. So glad you're along for this Tuesday edition of the show. Again, no Chiefs move at the trade deadline today in the NFL. The Colts are the only real AFC contender to have done anything of note today. They bring in Sauce Gardner in exchange for 2 first-round picks. That's a big move, no doubt about it. And they're on the hook for about all of the contract extension Gardner signed over the summer. Just why it's so startling that the Jets were willing to part company with him now. It had to have been it's out there about Williams that he was not happy. Quinnen Williams, who was also traded today from the Jets to the Dallas Cowboys. It's out there that he was not happy, that relationship between team and player had soured. It's not as out there about Gardner, which makes you wonder if that's a fairly new development. But like, those are guys, and I know the Jets defense has actually been kind of stinky this year. Like, their reputation was that, oh man, they're just a quarterback away. They've got a top flight defense. All they need is the quarterback. That's what you hire Aaron Glenn to be a defense first football team. I think they're 30th in DVOA in defense this year. They've been awful. But those are cornerstone guys. Like, you build around those guys. They gave Gardner an extension. You give contract extensions because you identify that player as a player you are building around. And if you then turn tack and in November you trade the player the same year, the same calendar year in which you give him a contract extension, well, that's going to make people think you don't know what the hell you're doing. That you don't have a plan. That you're a mess, dysfunctional. Well, we already know those things about the New York Jets, don't we? But yeah, other than that, not an eventful trade deadline among the AFC contenders. Bills didn't go out and do anything. There was a lot of smoke late in the deadline that maybe they'd make a move for Von Miller, a former Bill. Maybe they'd make a move for Deebo Samuel. The Commanders apparently were very open for business, but didn't end up getting anything done today. And the Bills have deficiencies, same as the Chiefs. No moves for the Bills. Ravens didn't do anything. They've already made their move a couple of weeks ago. They added Alohi Gilman. He's helped them a lot. But uneventful. And for the Chiefs, I think they should have added. I think they had an opportunity to add, and a little disappointed, frankly, that they did not go out and try and upgrade their running back room, especially if one of the guys on hand in Isaiah Pacheco's absence, Elijah Mitchell, is so bad that he ended up getting left on the inactive list for Clyde Edwards-Helaire. That is a sign for Elijah Mitchell that maybe he ought to update his resume. Anyway, another thought from that Chiefs game on Sunday. Something that is a stray thought today. I was reading Ben Solak's ESPN.com column. ESPN has really good football writers. Bill Barnwell and Ben Solak are must read. Graziani and Fowler's notes column in the middle of the week is always really good. You want to be a smarter fan, read those guys. Read all of that stuff. Anyway, Ben Solak had his notes column today. It's part notes, part mailbag, part stats. It's good stuff. And he wrote this today about Patrick Mahomes' unprecedented struggles on Sunday, in the sense that he had never before had a game in which he ended up with less than a 50% completion percentage before Sunday. But as Solak points out, a lot of that had to do with pressure. And against pressure, Patrick Mahomes was throwing it deep. There wasn't any check down in the Chiefs offense. Mahomes averaged nearly 18 air yards per attempt on pressured dropbacks, which is the second highest mark for a game in his career. Solak writes, quote, "It's tough to fault Mahomes' approach too much. There were open receivers downfield and blanketed receivers underneath. But one thing is glaring and must be addressed before a potential Buffalo rematch in the postseason. 18 pressured dropbacks, but 0 scrambles." End of quote. If you listened last week, you remember that was something I brought up, I think, on Thursday's show. When we were talking about the differences between the Chiefs playing the Bills and losing in the regular season, which they've now done 5 times in a row, and the Chiefs playing the Bills and winning in the postseason, which they've done 4 times in a row. Last year, one of the most glaring differences, at least the thing that jumped out on the stat sheet, Patrick Mahomes in the regular season against the Bills, 0 rushing attempts, 0 yards. Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs against the Bills, 11 rushing attempts, 43 yards, 2 touchdowns. And a couple of those carries and a couple of those lost yards. So it was probably closer to like 9 for 45 because he got to kneel out the clock, remember? And those count as negative rushing yards. Those should go into the team column. Those shouldn't be charged to quarterback. That's a whole other conversation for another day. But anyway, here it is. It happened again. Patrick Mahomes did not scramble, did not run the football against the Bills. That is a club that it feels like the Chiefs are consciously deciding to keep in their bag against the Bills. It's like deciding not to hit your driver or not hit your 8-iron or something like that. It is a part of the Chiefs' offense. It is an aspect of Patrick Mahomes' game that has made him great, that has made him legendary, that has won him MVPs and won him playoff games and won him championships. And in the regular season, they keep it on the shelf. And it's hard not to conclude at this point that that's a choice that's being made intentionally and not a choice that the Bills are scheming the Chiefs into. Now, they did do some things to show Mahomes some different looks. They had some spies that they utilized. And what they did that was unique in the game was the spy. Usually when you think about a spy, like if you played the football video game and they got a spy in the formation, usually it's like the middle linebacker, right? Or sometimes it's the defensive tackle, but it's always in the middle of the defense. There were times the Bills were lining up their spy, but they were doing it all over the field. They were doing it in other parts of the line, or it was a different linebacker than you'd expect based on the pre-snap look that was actually serving as the spy. So that had something to do with it. I'm not saying it was 0% to do with it, but we always see Patrick Mahomes go get the tough yards when he needs to go get his team the tough yards. We always see him scramble. And on Sunday, he was holding the ball and holding the ball and holding the ball and letting it rip down the field. I think that had to be a conscious choice. A conscious choice by Mahomes, and I don't know necessarily why he was making it. If the calculation was, well, if I don't scramble, I'll take fewer hits, that did not end up happening. He took a beating on Sunday. But if it's, we're not going to show our hand on this, we're not going to utilize this, we're going to tie a hand behind our backs in this game, well, it would sort of fit what I think a part of the perception is about why the regular season meetings between the Bills and the Chiefs are so different than the postseason meetings. The Chiefs don't show their whole hand. They would rather wait till January to do that. But I do. I thought that was fascinating to note that Patrick Mahomes loves to scramble, makes impact plays, keeps drives alive with his legs, didn't scramble once against the Bills. So either the Bills have cracked the code or the Chiefs are keeping something in their hip pocket for the anticipated rematch in January. We'll take a break here on 580 Sports Talk. When we come back, it's the season opener for K-State men's basketball tonight. We'll talk about what to expect next here on 580 Sports Talk. 349 on 580 Sports Talk. Stat Boy issuing a correction. Remember Stat Boy, the old pardon the interruption days? Whatever happened to him? Whatever happened to that kid? I'm joking. I know what happened to Tony Reale. Anyway, Stat Boy issuing a correction. Ravens did make a pre-trade deadline move. They just made it yesterday. Draymond Jones, defensive lineman, went from Tennessee to Baltimore. That's a good addition for them. They are hurting for impact on the defensive line, and I don't think that's the thing you can fix with one move, but Draymond Jones helps. That's a fine player. Want to make sure I corrected the record there. We'll talk a little bit more Chiefs, a little bit more NFL trade deadline later on in the show. Tonight, here on 580 WIBW and FM 104.9, it is the regular season debut for K-State men's basketball. The Wildcats are in action tonight at Bramlage Coliseum, welcoming in UNC Greensboro. Tip-off is at 7 o'clock, so pregame coverage on the K-State Sports Network gets underway at 6 p.m. tonight. UNC Greensboro is an 18.5-point underdog. That is the current betting line. So I will be interested tonight what we're looking to see from Kansas State. I thought that I might have been the last question. One of the last questions Jerome Tang was asked at his preseason press conference yesterday. He did a press conference yesterday, took questions. And I thought it was really revealing that he was asked about his approach to early in the season, and he said, and I'm paraphrasing here, that he used to worry about wanting his teams to peak at a certain time, but now he doesn't give a crap about that. I think those were his words. That he just wants to go out and win some basketball games. Never mind peaking at the right time. Never mind any, preseason tinkering. You got to go out and win. You can't be giving away games in the non-conference. And Kansas State, the last two seasons, has been largely unpleasant to watch in these non-conference games. They have had some real duds. Even some of the games they've won. Even some of the games they've won big have been unpleasant for long stretches of time. I do not think there will be a lot of words to describe Kansas State this season. I don't think unpleasant is going to be one of them because I think they are going to get buckets. I think they have better shooting than they've had in a couple of years. I think they have a ball-dominant guard who can score at a level that they haven't had since Marquise Noel in PJ Haggerty. So Kansas State is going to score. I don't think you're going to see a lot of slogs. I don't think you're going to see a lot of long stretches where it looks like the half-court offense is clogging a toilet. The question, of course, is going to be that will they get stops? And I do not think, Spencer and I had it out about this yesterday on the show. I don't think it's a big deal they gave up 90 points to Newman because I don't think they were trying to win. I don't think that there was a great deal of effort on display on that side of the ball. That they were just trying to develop some chemistry, see if there were certain players who could complement each other and play together. And that's what you should use the exhibition season for. You can't lose that game. And K-State didn't. They won by 22. But I'm not concerned about that. I'll be concerned they give up 90 to Greensboro, but I'm not yet concerned about the defense. I don't think they're going to be a great defensive team. Certainly, I don't think they're going to be a great one right away. But the thing about defense, if you have the requisite size and athleticism, and you know where you're supposed to be and you care, you can be playable on defense. Sometimes you don't have one of those things. Like Brendan Hawson last year, good shooter. K-State needed the shooting, couldn't really take him off the floor. He wasn't athletic enough to guard opposing two guards. So there were times he had to come off the floor because he wasn't playable on defense. I think this Kansas State team is athletic enough, long enough. I don't think they're going to have anybody who's just flat unplayable on defense. Maybe Kostic, but he's long, and I think that he's got a high ceiling. But I don't think they have anybody who's going to be unplayable. We'll start to find out tonight. Maybe I'm wrong. But as long as they've got guys who care, and if you don't care, Jerome Tang's not going to play you. Like that's a non-starter. But we'll find out tonight, like if they just have guys who can't guard. And those are the guys who won't play a whole lot. They will, though, I think especially in the early season, be able to outscore their defensive growing pains. Again, 7 o'clock tip tonight at Bramlage. We'll talk some KU basketball next hour. Michael Swain joins us at the bottom of the 4 o'clock hour. We got one more segment this hour. We'll take a break, come back with more 580 Sports Talk. I'm not going to be around for headlines today. I'm taking the final hour off of the show today. Spencer Dupuis coming in here next hour. Brendan Dworzinski will be along in the 5 o'clock hour. So we're not going to go dark. We're not going to go dead air. But I won't be around during headlines. I want to address this thing that I don't know if it's going to come up in headlines or not. Tom Brady cloned his dog. And on the one hand, I understand what it is to love a pet so much that the thought of losing that pet is unbearable, to want to keep alive the memory of a beloved pet. But on the other hand, two things. Number one, well, maybe he did see that Futurama episode where Fry decides ultimately against cloning his dog, who he finds fossilized 1,000 years later. You either seen Futurama and you get it or you don't. But that is one of the saddest episodes of television I've ever seen in my life. Just the end of it is gut-wrenching. Maybe he did see that, and that's why he decided to clone his dog. But Tom Brady, you are never, ever, ever beating the weirdo allegations doing something like that. You're never going to beat those allegations. We're talking KU hoops. We'll talk to Michael Swain. We'll do What Is Wrong With You. That's all coming up next hour, 580 Sports Talk. Let's get it. Hour number 2 of 580 Sports Talk on this Tuesday afternoon. Thanks so much for joining us on the Sports Voice of Kansas, 580 WIBW, FM 104.9, online at 580WIBW.com, and in living color on our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk, and our Facebook page, WIBW News. Dan Lucero, Spencer Dupuis with you. Brendan Dworzinski will be along in a bit. 2 more hours of sports talk today. At 6 o'clock, we hand things off to the K-State Sports Network from Learfield. K-State men's basketball, year 4 for Jerome Tang. Maybe the pivotal year in his K-State tenure opens tonight as the Wildcats host UNC Greensboro. Quick, Spencer, who's their mascot?
I don't know, but either way, it's pivotal or not. Somebody's going to have to come with a big bag to get him out of that contract.
Yeah, there's a substantial buyout.
So he might still be the head coach.
It's the Spartans, by the way. UNC Greensboro. They are the Spartans.
You know what's funny?
What is funny?
So, little inside baseball stuff. I create sportscasts that air across state on our Kansas Information Network, the flagship home of the Scoreboard Show with Darryn Peterson. I was talking about Wichita State hoops. They open at home, I believe, tonight, too, with UNC Asheville.
Yes. Interesting. Wonder if they...
And then KU travels to take on the big in Chapel Hill, big North Carolina.
UNC Chapel Hill. Yes. The one...
Very funny scheduling.
Yeah. I always call them North Carolina because where I grew up, there's the University of Northern Colorado, and that's UNC to me. North Carolina is just North Carolina. But,
I've always called them UNC.
So no, I understand, but you did not grow up in a state where there was a UNC, and that's just a quirk of being from the state of Colorado, I suppose. Anyway, we've got 2 hours to hang out with you. Want to hear from you on the program? 785-272-9429. That is 785-272-9429. And also join us in the live chat on our YouTube stream. 580 Sports Talk is the name of the channel. Like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. And hop on into the chat. Been great hearing from you throughout the show so far. Let us know your thoughts. Chiefs silent at the trade deadline. Let us know your thoughts on that. It's election day. Tell us who you voted for. Do not tell us who you voted for. That is, I'm totally kidding. But yeah, election day today. It's a voting day. I'm not wearing my sticker. Forgot to put my sticker on that says I voted. I worked hard for that sticker. My polling.
Where is it?
It's at my house.
Oh,
which I live like walking distance from our polling place, and
that's nice.
Yeah, so it's kind of nice. And I went to vote at lunch. School board, city council, mayoral race here in the capital city. I'm a big believer in doing your civic duty. So if you have voted today, good on you. If you haven't voted today, you still got time. And if you're not registered to vote, go register and make your voice heard in the democratic process. I'm a big fan, big believer in exercising your right to vote. So shout out to everybody who's done that already today. JB in the YouTube comments says they voted for me to be new Major League Baseball commissioner. Man, listen, I would be honored to serve. I do not think I am eligible. I do not think I will receive enough votes at the end of the day, but it would be my honor to serve in that capacity. I mean, let me be clear.
Probably be better than the last two.
Would be hard to be worse. Anyhow, coming up this hour, we got Michael Swain joining us over at fog.net, part of the 24/7 Sports Network. Michael joins us every Tuesday for Jayhawk Weekly. Going to get his perspective on KU's season opening win over Green Bay last night. They did chant shorts on backwards, by the way. Students were on the ball. Shout out to them. We'll get Michael.
Shout out to the ESPN Plus KU broadcast that played the video clip.
Yes, they were ready for that, and I appreciated it. We got What Is Wrong With You coming up as well. Going to talk some of that KU hoops. We'll talk a little bit about what we saw on the floor last night in that win over the Phoenix. Did want to pass this along, though. We were talking in the first hour. Real quick, Spencer, and I do mean quick here because I want to keep things moving, but yay or nay, the Chiefs not making a move? Are you okay with them standing pat, or were you disappointed they didn't make a move?
I was okay until I saw a post that said Brett Veach once traded a third-round pick for the worst receiver in the NFL. What's his name? Kadarius Toney.
He did do that, and then Kadarius Toney helped him win the Super Bowl. So
yes, but hold on. The words out there were that the Jets wanted a third round for Brees.
So yeah,
Hall.
that's what we're going to talk about here. So good segue. Connor Hughes covers the New York Jets for SNY, Sportsnet New York. He's the NFL insider, so he covers the Giants as well. But he was on a podcast with Zach Rosenblatt of The Athletic, who I believe covers the Jets for The Athletic. And they were doing a trade deadline wrap-up because obviously the Jets had a very busy day today. The Jets traded Quinnen Williams to the Cowboys. The Jets traded Sauce Gardner to the Colts. They are 1-7. They're going nowhere. They're not going anywhere anytime soon. And now they have 5 first-round picks the next 2 years, with which they can draft all of the 0 good quarterbacks who are coming out the next 2 years in out of college football the next 2 years. So don't know what their plan is, honestly, for the long term, other than to just accumulate picks. But that's what the Jets did today. But they had other players, and not just other players who were desirable, tradable assets, but players who wanted to leave, players who did not want to be there anymore. Jermaine Johnson, the defensive end, Brees Hall, the running back, 2 of those. And I said in the top in the first hour, I would have done a third-round pick for Brees Hall. I would have. Even though that's a top 100 pick, I would have made that move if I were Brett Veach. Well, Connor Hughes reported on that final drive, the podcast called Jets Final Drive, if you want to go find it and listen for yourself. But his reporting was that the Chiefs did make an offer for Brees Hall, and it was a 4th-round pick. And the Jets said no. The Jets said, we want a third. We're not coming down from our price. And on the one hand, I would understand that if we were talking about a player that could potentially help your team in the future, or you might have an opportunity in the offseason or at the next trade deadline to recoup what you see as fairer value for a player. If a 4th-round pick is the best offer you got, but you believe that player is worth a 3rd-round pick, I understand taking your time and waiting and seeing if that player's price might go up the next time you have an opportunity to trade that player. And what's that I'm hearing? Oh, Brees Hall's a free agent after this season. There is no next opportunity. You either get something for him or you get nothing for him when he walks in free agency because he doesn't want to play for you anymore. At that point, if you're Jets general manager Brick Johnson, not the real general manager, it's the owner's dumb kid. Who is the Jets GM? Is this Darryn Mogi? Darryn Mogi. If you're Darryn Mogi, I'm not even sure I'm pronouncing that last right. Mougey.
I didn't even know that was the name of their GM.
Might be Mouget. I'm not entirely sure. Darryn Mogi. If you're Darryn Mogi and you have an asset that this is your last opportunity to trade them, and the offer you're getting is a draft pick 32 spots to 38 spots. Like they have the compensatory picks between the 3rd and the 4th round. So there's no telling exactly how far back that pick is going to be. But at most, or at the very least, it's 32 picks worse. 32 picks less than what you were hoping to get. It's not like the Chiefs came in and said, hey, 7th rounder, final offer. Then I think I would understand, say, okay, you're not being serious. But it sounds like the Chiefs were willing to bridge the gap a little bit more than that and say, hey, look, we'll do a 4th. We're not going to do a 3rd. We'll do a 4th. And for the Jets to say no, that's a Jet problem. That's not, to me, like I said, like I would have done a 3rd. But if Brett Veach was willing to do a 4th, if their internal valuation is that's what this is worth for us, because, again, you're only getting the player for 8 games plus the postseason. This is a rental. And if the calculation is because when they traded that 3rd-round pick for Toney, as you point out, that wasn't a rental. They had 2 more years of team control on Kadarius Toney. They had the 4th year, and then they had the option, the 5th-year option, if they wanted to exercise that. So they had team control on Toney. So that's a little bit more understandable that you would say, okay, yeah, we'll trade a top 100 pick for multiple years, double-digit games of this player, even if that's not what they ended up getting out of Kadarius Toney, but I digress. If your calculation internally is that's a 4th round value for us, then I understand. And I do not understand the Jets being unwilling to take it. I think that's more a failure for the Jets than it is for the Chiefs. I think that's more of a screw up for Darren Mogi than it is for Brevich. So that is the reporting that is out there. Again, that's Connor Hughes from SNY. He's their NFL insider. And I feel bad for Breece Hall because, what do you do? If you're Breece Hall, you know you're going to play for a different team next year. You've already had a significant injury. You had the ACL tear a couple years back. What do you do? There's professional pride, I'm sure, but at the same time, you lowering the shoulder trying to get that extra yard for the New York Jets?
Nope.
How much value do you really have to the New York Jets? How much are you really going to give your all for the Jets moving forward? That's a tough situation for that player to be in. And you got a player who wants out. You're not going to bring back. You have a chance to recoup some value for that player. I just don't understand why the answer is no. I understand, we're just not going to take just any old thing. We're not going to take a bag of kicking tees. We're not going to take a conditional 7th. But a 4th-round pick isn't chopped liver for a rental player. And the Chiefs were willing to do that. Me personally would have gone up to the 3rd rounder. I would have given Mogi what he asked for. But I'm surprised Mogi didn't just take the 4th quarter. Take the bird in the hand.
Well, especially because they already they've already couped a lot of picks today, right?
They have 5 first-rounders the next 2 years.
At which point do you not just settle? Give the guy an out and take something.
They came out great in the Gardner and Williams deals. As far as I'm concerned, 2 first-round picks for Sauce Gardner. That's like the Micah Parsons deal.
It is, except for, Jerry Jones decided yesterday, he told everybody that he was going to make a huge trade.
Mm-hmm.
And lo and behold, he makes a trade after they lose last night in an embarrassing way. And now what are they, 4? Are they 3 or how many wins they got?
I couldn't even tell you.
I don't know, but they're not looking good on the season, and they made that splash trade. Interesting. I just had to put that in there.
Sure. So that is the latest on what the Chiefs did, what they tried to do, apparently, at the trade deadline. So I don't know if that makes you feel better if you're a Chiefs fan. You felt like they should have gone and gotten help. They made a good faith effort to try and go get Breece Hall, and the Jets were insistent that, no, we want 32 more spots of draft capital or no sale. I don't know how that makes you feel. I feel a little better about the Chiefs inaction. That looks like they did try to make the move, and I think the Jets screwed up. I think sometimes when you're dealing with a team that is that poorly run, that dysfunctional, you have to be prepared for those negotiations to go in that direction. Anyway, I wanted to talk some KU basketball here, so let's get to that here real quick. We're going to talk more about last night's KU victory over Green Bay with Michael Swain of Fog.net here in about 20 minutes or so. He'll join us for Jayhawk Weekly. But KU wins last night, and they do so decisively, 94-51 over Green Bay. There was never a question they were going to win big, and that's exactly what they did. I don't know, outside of cramps, what is going to stop Darryn Peterson in 2025-26. He is outrageously good.
Apparently he eats ketchup or mustard packets, and they help.
Trying to get the mustard in him. Yeah, trying to get the mustard.
I didn't know that was a thing. I thought pickle juice was the only thing that did that.
No, there's mustard. Some people swear by mustard.
Apparently he just bites open.
That's the only thing right now that can stop Darryn Peterson.
Yeah.
Our guy Triple G in the YouTube comments says that's the best basketball player he's seen at Kansas. He's been watching since the early 90s. That is lofty praise. We've only seen one real game so far. But on the other hand, I understand why you would say that. Everything about his game. I guess the play that stood out to me, and there were a lot of moments. He had a lot of moments because he only played 22 minutes, but he did a lot with those 22 minutes. 21 points on 11 shots, 4 boards, 3 assists, 3 stocks, only 1 turnover, made 3 of 7 from distance, made all 4 of his free throws. He was far and away the best player on the floor. Like, when you get to that level, and you're that far and away the best player on the court. And, obviously, Green Bay doesn't have a guy who was ever a 5-star recruit. They don't have a guy who's going to play in the NBA. They do have LeBron on their team. LeBron Thomas, he started and played 10 minutes. But they don't have...
No, it's Leandre Thomas.
It says LeBron on the ESPN box score.
Google is telling me Leandre Thomas. Maybe that's wrong.
It is wrong. It is wrong. Go to the Green Bay website. LeBron Thomas. That's his name. Anyway, apologies. Derailed here a second. But back to Peterson. The play that stood out to me the most. And you might have a different favorite from his action last night. But the play that stood out to me the most. There's a play he's got the ball at the top of the key and little crossover and goes to his left. And it does not look, it's not this like outrageous burst of speed. It's not like a John Wall burst of speed out of the crossover, but he just appeared to glide past the defender, and Flory had lifted. He had elevated from the low post to the high post, brought his defender with him, and vacated the underside of the basket. So when Peterson got behind his defender, he also got past the big. He dunked it down with. And the guys at this level who are the best, they look like they play the game at a different speed. Like they are on the different time frame than anybody else. Everyone else on the floor looks like they're moving in slow motion compared to that player. That's what it looked like for Darryn Peterson. At the same time, and I swear this makes sense to me. Maybe you think I'm nuts, but watching Peterson play almost looks like a player who doesn't operate at full speed. Like he has the ability. It's a smoothness to his game, I guess is the best way that I can describe it.
I just ISO watched his film. Like I've watched the game or a good portion of the game, but I like seeing his ISO and as you talk about that, I see it.
So there's just a smoothness to him where it feels like the game he processes and moves in slow motion along with the rest of the game, and nobody can keep up with him. The only thing that can slow him are these cramps. And I'm going to ask Michael Swain how concerned KU is, how concerned we ought to be with these cramps, because it's been a problem going back to his senior year at Prolific Prep where he dealt with the cramps. And obviously, like, it's fine that he plays 22 minutes against Green Bay. He can't play 22 minutes against North Carolina. He can't play 22 minutes against Houston and BYU and K-State and Iowa State. He can't play 22 minutes in the tournament.
Yeah,
you need him
game in the tournament.
No, you're going to need volume Darryn Peterson. And we haven't seen the volume minutes yet at the college level because he hasn't been able to play the second half. And look, you don't need to force him to play in the second half against Louisville because it's not a real game. And you don't need to force him to play in the second half against Green Bay because you're up by 1 billion and you're going to win by 1 billion. But going to need to see that moving forward. That is the only concern. And I'm not sure it's a small concern if this has been a thing that's been bothering him for a year. And like KU's got people that I'm sure like do tests and try and figure out why this is happening, and they haven't figured it out yet. And that is concerning to me. It is. And I'm concerned it's more than just a basketball thing, but until we know for sure, then it is the only thing right now that stands in the way of Darryn Peterson being exactly as advertised. I mean, you talk about it does what it says on the tin. This dude does what it says on the tin. It is super, super impressive. I thought the starting lineup meshed very well for KU. I thought every other starter was a varying degree of solid. Like Flory was excellent.
I think when you add Darryn with Flory, they're like a combo that could be unstoppable.
Well, every good point guard elevates their big man. And, I mean, obviously there wasn't anybody on that Phoenix roster who could do anything with Flory, but he was great. He had 23 points, finished really smoothly around the basket. Cole Rosario hasn't found his shot yet, but you see the athleticism. I think Melvin Council and Trey White really mesh well in their roles. It feels like a starting five that makes sense. It feels like a starting five where it complements each other. And even the guys that come off the bench, like the things that they're being asked to do, make a lot of sense. I thought Tiller played well, knocked down a corner three, showed his athleticism. And that's a guy who's going to get better every time he touches the floor. Like that is somebody as impressive as Tiller, I think, has been in the exhibition season and now one game of the season opener. I think because he played so little basketball, recovering from his injuries the last year and change, he's going to get better every time he steps on the floor. And I think he's got an exceptionally high ceiling.
I thought Dawson played pretty well in his 11 minutes.
Yeah, like the guys off the bench have, I think, all have a fit and all have a role that I think they're going to be able to perform admirably. And this is just a KU roster that makes a lot more sense as a functional basketball team than last year's and the years before, because you just didn't have guys who had the skill set that matched what you were asking them to do. And I think this year, this roster, the skill sets all mesh really nicely. Text from 785 on the text line. I was telling my friends watching KU last night, it looked like Peterson wasn't putting in full effort and was still the best player I've seen in a long time. I don't think it's a lack of effort. I think sometimes when guys are so smooth and so talented and they just kind of glide, that it looks like they're not playing hard. He's one of those. He just glides. It's like he's skating, like ice skating on the court. Just he moves in a different way than the other 9 guys on the court. I cannot wait to get to watch him throughout this freshman season. We'll take a timeout. We got What Is Wrong With You coming. It's What Is Wrong With You time on 580 Sports Talk. 2 new stories today competing. Our current champ for the week, the middle school principal who was running a scam, scamming people out of charity money and scamming people out of money used to purchase sports equipment, scamming people out of close to $8,000. He was arrested and charged. The 2 new stories today will begin with Spencer's story.
Yeah, we're going to go to St. Louis County, Missouri. A Florida man appeared in court Monday after being found with several fraudulent credit and gift cards, as well as a card skimmer during an arrest in Maryland Heights, Missouri. According to probable cause statement from the Maryland Heights PD, the incident occurred on Halloween around 12:20 a.m. Police said the officer conducted a traffic stop on Yoandro Peralta Para after he was seen weaving out of a lane while driving a Nissan Versa. He had an active warrant out for his arrest at the time of the stop. During a pat-down, police said the officer felt a large object in his pants, which was later discovered to be a skimming device. When the officer told Peralta Paro he was under arrest for a warrant, he took off running. During the pursuit, he allegedly pushed the officer away, causing them to fall and suffer minor injuries. He continued running until other officers arrived on scene. According to police, he threw credit cards and gift cards all over the roadway as he was running from officers. Police discovered the gift cards were thrown had legitimate credit card numbers loaded onto them. Additionally, he had 45 cards with him at the time of the arrest, as well as other false identification cards. St. Louis County Prosecuting Attorney's Office charged him with forgery, resisting arrest, and fourth-degree assault. He was jailed on a $25,000 cash-only bond.
Is that a skimming device in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me? It sounds like that was a full-time job for him, running all that scam. 45 credit cards. Yeah, that sounds like a full-time job at that point. He was dedicated to scam life, for sure. For my story, I call this Do As I Say, Not As I Do Too. Very similar in the vein of one of our monthly finalists for last month, the police officer who taught a class about de-escalation, who escalated a confrontation with a police officer. Today, we go to Columbia, Missouri, and we meet Harry Adrian IV. He is the state safety coordinator of the Missouri Department of Transportation, and he denies that he wielded a gun during a road rage incident in Jefferson City. He was charged with felony unlawful use of a weapon. An entry of appearance and not guilty plea were entered on Friday. His lawyer says the claims are made up, says that they were filed because a disgruntled driver made a false police report, and that he is confident that Mr. Adrian will be cleared of these charges and looks forward to putting this nonsense to rest. The probable cause statement says Adrian was accused by 2 people of pulling out a gun and pointing it at them during a road rage incident on September 22nd. A deputy wrote that he stopped Adrian's vehicle while he was following the alleged victim's vehicle in Cole County. Adrian allegedly told deputies he was involved in a road rage incident, but claimed he had a cell phone instead of a gun. Deputies then searched the vehicle and found a gun. Adrian has worked for MoDOT for 12 years.
Safe to say he doesn't work for them anymore.
Well, he may not if he gets convicted of this. But yes, the state safety coordinator of Missouri Department of Transportation. Apparently, that is under the purview of safety. Keep that thing on you in a road rage incident. I think that wins today. I think that wins the week. Yeah. Just the idea of the hypocrisy of it. The safety coordinator bringing out the heater in a road rage incident. No, it was actually a cell phone. Sure. And this gun in your vehicle? Where was that the whole time? Anyway, so that'll continue on. Do As I Say, Not As I Do, Part 2, Electric Boogaloo. That'll be our new champion for the week on What Is Wrong With You. Michael Swain joins us next for Jayhawk Weekly. We are joined on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits Hotline by Michael Swain of Fog.net, part of the 24/7 Sports Network. For Jayhawk Weekly, we do it every single Tuesday at this time here on 580 Sports Talk. Michael covers the Jayhawks at Fog.net. If you're a VIP subscriber at 24/7 Sports, you get access to all of Michael's outstanding information and writing about the Jayhawks. Michael, KU basketball is officially 1-0, a real game in the books last night, a lopsided win, as would have been anticipated, over Green Bay. Darryn Peterson looks about like he's going to do what it says on the package so far through his start as a Jayhawk. We saw him in one exhibition game, the Louisville game, and we saw him last night. What has stood out to you the most about what Peterson has brought to the floor?
Yeah, man. He's just so good. Like, there's so many. Like, we could talk about so many things. Like, you want to talk about his ability just to get his own shot off. You look at the end of the first half, and the shot he's able to get off when everyone in the building and everyone on Green Bay knows Darryn Peterson is the one taking that shot. The guy could do nothing about it. Like, just get to the elbow, pull up, boom, easy. All right, then we've seen him hit threes, like at Louisville. You saw him hit threes last night. Like, you know that he's got the ability to shoot the basketball from deep. He's going to have some streaky games where, he could go 6 of 10. He's also going to have games where maybe he goes 2 of 8. But the ability to shoot the basketball is there. We talk about defensively, like when he is active, just how disruptive he can be with his length. Like, I think that's an underrated part of his game that maybe a lot of people don't understand is, like, this is a kid who's got I believe, like a 7-foot wingspan, 6'10" wingspan, something like that. Like, he's got incredible length. And when he is active, he can get in passing lanes and he can play that side of the game. And then we talk about, creating for others off the pick and roll, the vision, the feel for the game, what to look for. Like, he just checks all the boxes. And that's just, I think, the most encouraging part about what you saw against Louisville and then what you saw against Green Bay is that you knew he was a kid that just had all the talent in the world. And throughout these games, he's checking the boxes. And that's all you could ask for a college debut. And he's going to get better. And that's the exciting thing, too, is just knowing that this is just the start for him. And the growth for him this year is going to be really fun to watch because he's starting at such a high level to begin with.
We know he's dealing with the cramps. It was something that he dealt with last year in his final year of prep school, and it kept him out of most of the second half of the Louisville game, kept him out of most of the second half last night. Of course, Louisville was an exhibition, and the game was comfortably in hand against Green Bay, so it didn't matter that he didn't play. But how much of a long-term concern is this? Or is this something they feel like he can probably manage to play through, say, against North Carolina on Friday night if it cropped up then?
Yeah, I'd say it's moderately concerning just because it's been something that's been going on for more than a year. He dealt with it at Prolific, and it's still there as an issue, and that is something that, they're going to have to look into. And obviously the sports medicine, sports science stuff he's going to have access to at Kansas is at a very different level than Prolific Prep, and that's no offense to one of the, best prep schools in the country. So they've got to find a solution. What is that? I have no idea. I'll tell you this. There is the chance for the funniest NIL marketing partnership ever if Heinz Mustard wants to sponsor Darryn Peterson. That'd be really freaking funny if that happens for a game or two. Obviously, if it comes at a point when the cramping issue is not impacting his ability to play meaningful minutes for KU. That's what makes this Carolina game so interesting. KU's going to need Peterson for 35 minutes on Friday night. Can he play it? I don't know. And that's, again, it's going to make for a very interesting dynamic going into that game. So I'd say moderately concerned, not like I'm smashing the panic button, not like I'm really like super concerned about long term, but just the fact that this is something that he has dealt with for a long time, and the fact that it's back and KU's known about it for weeks and hasn't been able to find an answer. That part of it is a little concerning.
Michael Swain joining us from Fog.net, part of the 24/7 Sports Network. This is Jayhawk Weekly on 580 Sports Talk. Aside from the man they call Bucket Jones, who stood out the most to you positively from last night's win over the Phoenix?
Yeah, it's hard not to go to Flory. I think just what he showed was a lot more in line with what you saw against Louisville. I thought he was good in that first exhibition. I thought he was bad against Fort Hays State. I just didn't see it. Doing too much stuff that's just not in his game. And what did you see last night? Well, it was a guy that dominated the paint. I think having a little jump hook with his left hand is going to be a big weapon for him this year, because that's something that he did not have last year, right? More of a post game, or at least a go-to move, and being able to add that in addition to what he brings you in terms of being a rim running guy that can really provide a lob threat. I thought he was really good. And obviously you can get to like the shot blocking, and due to the fact that Green Bay shot a bunch of threes, like he didn't get a bunch of rebounds like he might in different games against different opponents. But I thought it was a super encouraging season debut for him, especially considering just how he didn't really look up to it against Fort Hays State last week.
Did it feel to you like the starting five meshed together pretty well? I kind of felt like all five starters last night, even if they weren't spectacular, like Cole Rosario didn't shoot it great, but you saw some of the athleticism on display from him. It felt like that was a group where everybody sort of knows what their expectation is going to be for their role and was able to perform that, I thought, to a decent level of ability on Monday night. Did it seem that way to you? Did it seem that way to Bill Self, that he was happy with the performance of his first five together?
Yeah, I think it's a unit that at least understands what everyone's role is. You know, you can go through, right? Darren's the star. Everything's going to run through him. Melvin is kind of your second ball handler guy that can really, I think, control the pace of a game with his speed. He gets a call, hey, you're a guy that's got to provide some shooting on the outside. You got to be athletic defensively. And he provided that, and obviously Trey White's kind of your glue guy at the four. Can you rebound? Can you slash? Can you kind of do a little bit of everything? And then Flory being your guy at the five, who's your main kind of, rim protector guy that's going to offer you a lot in the paint. And so I think the fact that everyone's got very clear and defined roles that are really tailored towards their skill set is a huge positive. And I think you compare it to last year and the year before, early in the year, trying to figure it out. Like, okay, you got Hunter Dickinson and KJ playing together. How exactly is that going to work? What does Zeke Mayo offer? Rylan Grit? Like, there was so much to figure out. This year, it feels a little different, where it feels much more clearly defined what their roles are. And even guys coming off the bench, I think it's pretty clear what those guys are going to be asked to do as well. So I think it's a very interesting starting spot for KU. Obviously, you want to see guys improve. You want to see Cole Rosario knock down shots, Jaden Dawson knock down shots. You want to see Bryson Tiller play to his size. Like, where all the guys can kind of have their range of individual performance. But I think in terms of what they're asked to do, it feels about as defined as KU's had since maybe that title team in 22 to start the year. Because if you remember, right, the 22-23 team with McCullough, it took some time for Kevin to kind of find his footing with that roster. And obviously Grady Dick hit the ground running, was better than anyone thought. And so for this year, it really does feel like the first time since 22 where everything kind of feels very, very defined, and guys know what there is going to be asked of them every time they step on the floor. And I think that's a very healthy spot to be in when you have so many newcomers that have not played a lot of basketball together.
North Carolina's a little better than Green Bay. In what ways specifically do you think that they will most put KU to an early season test? What do you think we'll learn about the Jayhawks against the Tar Heels?
Yeah, man, they've got legit size. Caleb Wilson, top 10 player in the 2026 class. And, man, tangent here, but looking at the other freshmen in this class, right, Darren's incredible. A.J. DeBonce is great. Cam Boozer's great. But, you look across the country, on Monday night, Koa Pete at Arizona goes for 30. Nate Aman at Tennessee does a great job. It's a hugely talented class. And obviously Caleb Wilson's one of those guys at Carolina. Great size, great athleticism. Carolina plays him at the 3 as a 6'9" guy. Now, he's not playing there all the time, but it just shows you how big Carolina can play with some of their lineups. And that's going to be a huge challenge for this KU team that is pretty much playing small. Trey White at his past stops has kind of been a 3-4 type of guy. He's truly going to play the 4 for KU a lot this year. I'd bet you 75% of his minutes this year are going to come at the 4. And so he's going to have a big test going against a Caleb Wilson. And so I think Carolina's size is really going to be a good test for KU because, look, it's a smaller team. They're going to need Floyd to play big. They need Trey White to play big. And they need Bryson Tiller to play big. Can those guys go and do it against a really good Carolina team? So I think that, for me, is going to be the most interesting part of the game Friday night.
Joining us on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits Hotline, Michael Swain of Fog.net. This is Jayhawk Weekly on 580 Sports Talk. Let's shift to the gridiron. Kind of a taking care of business kind of win for Kansas. It felt like a get-right spot. Certainly came out that way, a 38-21 victory over Oklahoma State on Saturday. What was most pleasing to the Jayhawks, to Coach Lance Leipold, about that performance? That was a spot where they were big favorites, and they took care of business. They were favored by 24.5. They were up by 24 until a garbage time touchdown. So truly a TCB kind of performance. What pleased Leipold the most, what he saw from his team?
Yeah, I'm sure he's going to like the fact that they ran the ball well. You know, that's been an issue for KU this year, just consistency running the ball. It's just not been there. And for KU to go out and have a performance like it did against an Oklahoma State team that was allowing less than 115 rushing yards per game since Clint Bowen took over as DC. So it's a team that had done a great job of stopping the run. And for KU to go and have that type of performance, I think was very encouraging. Obviously, KU got creative, using Nolan Gorska as kind of a sixth offensive lineman. That definitely helped, move guys along the line of scrimmage, give Daniel Le'Shawn Williams more space. And I think we've talked about that several times this year where it felt like, man, if you can just give Le'Shawn and Daniel space, they can get you really good yards down to down. But just KU, I don't feel like has consistently been able to open up those holes, and having Gorska go out and kind of play as a tight end, if you will, really helped. And so I think that's probably the most encouraging part. Look, defensively, it was inconsistent. That's been the story of the season for KU. Jalen was fine, missed some throws. I thought, Jim Zdrowski talked about it on Tuesday. Just the fact that Jalen, in kind of their film review, was talking about how he wanted some throws back. Of he had guys open, didn't throw it to him. That's going to be big. That he's going to have to make the right decisions at Arizona. But again, getting back to the run game, that's a huge development for KU, especially going to play an Arizona team that has struggled to stop the run this year.
Arizona, again, is on deck. And this is an opportunity now for KU to get that sixth win and wrap up bowl eligibility with 2 games still remaining in their regular season. How much urgency do you think that adds to this KU performance? Going out on the road, never easy in this league, and that's a longer travel than most league games going out to Tucson. But how much urgency do you think there is with KU entering this week with that 6th win at stake?
Yeah, there should be urgency. Lance Leipold handles it a little differently. He's very much in a game-to-game type of coach. You hear that whether it be Missouri, K-State, going for a 6th win. I don't know what he's like behind closed doors with the guys, but it sounds like from talking to him, talking to the players, that, hey, they all know what's at stake this weekend and what will be at stake over the next 3 weeks. But they're not putting all their eggs in one basket. And I understand that. But KU's got to come out and start fast on the road. Like, you can look at the road performances this year. Missouri, 3-and-out touchdown from Missouri to start the game. UCF gets out to the early lead. Texas Tech punches KU in the mouth. Like, KU has had very poor starts on the road this year. They got to get that figured out, because this is not an Arizona team that you want to give a lead, because that defense is so athletic in the secondary, and they do some really interesting stuff coverage-wise where you don't want Jalen Daniels dropping back, having to throw 30 times against the secondary because of what they do. So I think for KU, starting fast and, again, getting that run game going where you can kind of limit possessions, play a ball control style of game, that's going to be really important. And so, yeah, like, the intensity needs to be there, but I don't get the sense that that's necessarily how Lance Leipold sees it in terms of you got to go out this week and get it done, or else, like, as he says frequently, you still got more season to play and you can't put all your eggs in one basket.
KU beats Arizona if blank, Michael Swain. What's the most important thing they have to do?
Just find some consistency defensively. But the offense is going to put up points. Like, I think KU's offense should be in the high 20s for this game. Can your defense, do better, genuinely? You're not asking for, holding Arizona under 200 yards total offense. Like, can you just get a stretch of plays in the second half where you can force 3, right? Here, what has it been for KU? Well, it's coming out of halftime. The defense gets a stop. The offense does nothing. And then the defense goes out there with some momentum and then gives up a touchdown. And then the games change. Can you have that stretch of play in the second half where the defense goes out, gets stops? It doesn't have to be pretty. It could be, a guy fumbles or, guy is a tip pass and is intercepted. It doesn't matter. Like, can you find a way to get 3 consecutive stops? And if they do, I feel good about KU's chances of winning. But again, how often has KU done that this year consistently? Not a lot. But I think that's going to be a huge key for KU, is just finding some sort of consistency on defense.
Michael Swain covers the Kansas Jayhawks at Fog.net, part of the 24/7 Sports Network. Become a subscriber today. VIP access gets you all of Michael's outstanding information about Jayhawk hoops and football. Michael, always a pleasure. We'll do it again next week.
Awesome. Sounds great. Talk to you next week.
That is Michael Swain. That's going to do it for me today on 580 Sports Talk. Brendan and Spencer have you the rest of the way, starting after this break on 580 WIBW.
Wrapping up this 4 o'clock hour. Spencer Dupuis with you here. Brendan Dorzinski will join us to start the final hour. In that final hour, we'll have some headlines for you, MLB news and notes, Royals notes. We'll take a look at K-State women. They opened the season with a big victory last night, plus a very weird story about Tom Brady. Random Question Tuesday. We'll look at college football rankings, get a final hoops thoughts, and a final word. That is coming up in the final hour of 580 Sports Talk. We'll break for the national news, and then we'll have a break, check the weather, and then we will come back here and get things started for the final hour of 580 Sports Talk. We'll be back then for the 5 o'clock hour.
it's the 3 o'clock hour of 580 Sports Talk. Pardon me, the third hour, 5 o'clock hour, going up on a Tuesday. Brendan Dworzinski here with you. Hey, good to see you. Happy to be here with you today. Spencer Dupuis also here on the other side of the glass. Thanks for hanging out with us during this final hour of the program today. Plenty to get to in this final hour of the show, and we would love for you to be a part of the program as well. Hit us up. Text line, you know the number, 785-272-9429. That's 785-272-WIBW for those who still have, a phone that has the letters on the keypad. I actually had to spell something out. I called someone today, had a business call. I had to spell out on a menu on the phone the person's name with the letters. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Would you know how to do that?
No.
Wow.
I mean, yes and no. My first phone was a flip phone, but I only had it for like a year.
So like the number 2, anything ABC.
Yeah.
So the woman's name was Becky. So I had to spell out Becky.
Interesting.
With the keypad. Yeah, it was like a blast from the past there.
I love how years ago,
Mhm.
before this radio station split from the WIBW television station, that we got the WIBW phone,
That's right.
phone number.
We've been around a little bit longer, just a casual 19 years.
Although people call us, people call and think they're calling the TV station
every damn day. So 785-272-9429. That's 272-WIBW. That's the text line number. You can also find us on YouTube. That is right, streaming the show live, video streaming every single day when we are on the air. 580 Sports Talk is the name of the YouTube channel. Just search it, subscribe, click on the video, hang out with us there today. Our guy Triple G says, need more Darryn Peterson talk today. We'll get some. Dan talked a little bit about it in the 4 o'clock hour, recapping last night's KU win. Michael Swain joined us last hour as well for Jayhawk Weekly. I didn't get to share any thoughts, so I'm going to share some this hour before we are done. We'll also look ahead to K-State men's basketball and their season debut coming up tonight. Big test coming up for the Cats. They're going to start their season with a tough one. We'll also get to our 580 Sports Talk headlines here in just a few moments. We'll play some Random Question Tuesday. And do you know what is coming up tonight on ESPN? If you have YouTube TV, you won't be able to watch it. But do you know what's coming up tonight on ESPN for the first time this year?
I don't, because guess what? I've got YouTube TV.
College football playoff rankings. First ones of the college football season. Who's going to be number 1? Who would your top 4 be? We'll break that down coming up later on this hour, plus your texts, plus your comments on the YouTube channel. But without further ado, let's get to them. Our 580 Sports Talk headlines for today, just after the top of the 5 o'clock hour, November 4th, 2025. We got to it a bunch at the beginning of the show, but an update and a recap of today's and this year's NFL trade deadline. The number 1 headline, though, from today's events, Spencer, we reported that, well, we didn't report this. We had the report at the start of the 4 o'clock hour that Connor Hughes of The Athletic, covers the New York Jets, reported that the Chiefs had an offer on the table, a 4th-round pick, to get Breece Hall, the Wichita native, Iowa State product, running back for the New York Jets. Jets already today did all sorts of fire sailing. They had been open to moving a couple of other guys. Garrett Wilson, they were getting some calls on. Jermaine Johnson, they were getting some calls on, the defensive end. They did trade Quinnen Williams to the Dallas Cowboys. More on that in a moment. They did trade Sauce Gardner to the Indianapolis Colts. More on that coming up as well. But a 4th-round pick was not enough to get Breece Hall.
I've got the audio clip. You want to play it?
Yeah, let's hear the clip here from Connor Hughes of The Athletic.
And Jermaine Johnson came back.
All right, so that's the situation there. Chiefs offered a 4th. Jets said it's a 3rd or nothing. Chiefs said, okay, then we're out.
Very interesting, because Brett Veach traded a 3rd-round pick for Kadarius Toney.
Yeah, and look how that turned out.
But he did help him win a Super Bowl.
He did help them win a Super Bowl. That is absolutely correct. So I don't know. I'm of two minds about this. I've made it very clear. I think this running back room stinks.
Yeah.
Like, we saw the Chiefs elevate Clyde Edwards-Helaire this week, guys. Like,
He had 2 rushes for 5 yards.
What in the world was that? Sounds like we had a little bit of an issue with the audio going out for the video viewers. Essentially what it was, Connor Hughes, the Athletic, just says Chiefs had the offer out there. Jets refused to take anything less than a third rounder. Chiefs were holding steadfast with a fourth. That obviously meant the deal was not going to get done. So apologies that didn't go out over the YouTube feed. Meanwhile, I think the running back room stinks. Kareem Hunt is playing well, but you're capped with him. I mean, he's not the athlete he was when he was drafted in 2019. Obviously, there are, he's been efficient. He's been more efficient than the tush push. We've talked about that over the last week. He has been effective, but you're not going to get any sort of real consistent explosion out of him. They refused to play Elijah Mitchell. They elevated Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Isaiah Pacheco already is more famous than good, and he's banged up this year as well. I think they need something better in that running back room. Breece Hall is better. There is no doubt about that. I also can understand, though, holding the line that, hey, we're not giving up a day 2, a top 100 pick to get a running back who's only under contract through this year. Now, if you had traded a third, would you have been open to re-signing him? Those probably go hand in hand. You at least try to get one more year, maybe a quote-unquote 3-year extension that's really 2 years with some funny money. I would not be surprised if it was something like that. But clearly, the Chiefs are not interested in having Breece Hall long-term, and that's why they were only willing to part with a mid-round, early day 3 pick. I get it. I don't like this running back room, but I do understand why Brett Veach held the line here.
Yeah, I get it. I was kind of disappointed, but then I hear that reporting. When the trade deadline came and gone and I didn't hear any, and there was no trades, I was a little disappointed, but hearing this and hearing him standing pat saying 4th or nothing, I'm fine with that because you have to save draft capital for yourself.
You do.
Especially when you're going to be cap tightened the next couple of years, unless you, barring they cut Jawan Taylor.
And again, you only are getting so much out of the guy if you don't plan to re-sign him. So why would you let me put it this way. I think the running back room can be improved and frankly needed to be improved somehow. I don't think spending a day 2 pick to get a guy who you're going to have for somewhere between 8 and 12 weeks is worth it. It's just not. That player, as good as Breece Hall is, and he is a nice player, he is not going to make or break your chance to go win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, the only way I would have done that with a third or better would be if you knew there was wantingness from both sides for an extension. Like you just brought up.
That's what I'm saying.
That's the only way I would have done a third.
Right. No, we're of the exact same mind on that. So Chiefs stand pat. They do not make any moves. The Jets, they did sell off a whole lot today. Sauce Gardner to the Colts, Quinnen Williams to the Cowboys. Let's start there because it's less relevant to the Chiefs' interest. So Dallas is sending a 2nd-round pick, a future first, and defensive tackle Mozzie Smith, who sucks. He's a terrible NFL player, in order to get Quinnen Williams, who's a really, 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 really good player.
Yeah.
1, why don't you just keep Micah Parsons? 2, okay, great. You have improved even a little bit more up front. He's one of the better interior pass rushers in the NFL. Going to get a little more beef against the run. Awesome. Hey, Spencer, what's he going to do on a crossing route?
Nothing.
What's he going to do to help out that secondary and a bunch of cornerbacks that can't do anything if they're not trying to jump routes and run for pick sixes? Nothing.
It's also very interesting the Cowboys made some moves today the way they did.
I just
because
don't,
they are 3-5-1.
Yeah, I don't really understand what they're doing. And granted, because Williams is under contract and a big contract for several more years, this is not just a 2025 play. This is a 26, 27, 28 play as well. I understand that. I still don't really know why they refuse to negotiate in good faith with a better player in Micah Parsons.
Exactly. And I think even if you're not getting him for just a rental of this year, I think it's very odd timing, especially after you lose the game the way they did last night on Monday Night Football. And the fact is, the NFC East is not, barring a huge turnaround in the NFC, The NFC East is not getting 2 teams in the playoffs.
No, it certainly does not look like that at this rate.
Barring a big shakeup.
The other trade the Jets made, they sent Sauce Gardner to the Indianapolis Colts for 2 first-round picks and A.D. Mitchell. A.D. Mitchell, wide receiver, formerly from Texas. You guys remember when he was at UT. Diabetes, so shout out to the Brotherhood. He stunk. He has not done anything for the Colts. I saw Charles McDonald of Yahoo Sports put on Blue Sky today in reaction to this trade. I think the Colts would have rather paid him to stay home than actually had him play for them anymore at this point. It's a fresh start for Mitchell. Justin Fields, the one thing he is good at, he can chuck it. He can throw the ball down the field, and he is sometimes scared too. But his deep ball is probably the best thing he does in terms of actual quarterbacking outside of the run game. It's a fresh start for him. Maybe it ends up working out. I got to be honest with you, man. Sauce Gardner's good. I don't know that Sauce Gardner is worth 2 first-round picks and a guy on a rookie contract good. I don't know that he is that good of a player. I think he's good. I think he's a top 10 corner. Is he a top 5 corner? Somewhere 6 to 10?
Look, I think that may have been a little too much to pay, but Colts are clearly going all in for the rest of this year. And you have him for this year and beyond, right? And they have a very good secondary.
The Colts?
Yeah.
Well, no, they have a crap secondary. That's why they had to make this trade. Their secondary is terrible. Their quarterback play is gruesome. But yeah, you're right. I mean, he's under he just signed a few months ago a gigantic new contract. I'll pull the numbers up here. But no, he just got his extension from the Jets. What was it, in April of this year? Of course, everybody in the world is on Spotrac right now, so nothing is loading. But yeah, he got 4 years, $120 million, $30 million per year, 85.4 total guaranteed. They've got him locked in for quite a while at this point. The Colts are a better team because of this. I'm not trying to argue that they're not. I'm just saying that is a big price to pay for a guy who I think is quite good. I just don't know that he's great. Kenny Moore in the slot is fine. Their other 2 corners are Mekhi Blackton and previously had been Jalen Jones. Like that group stinks. Nick Cross at safety. Do you know anything about Nick Cross? No, of course you don't. Come on, don't lie to me. Cam Bynum's a nice player. They're free safety. I do like Cam Bynum. That secondary really stunk. They had to get better. They just had to pay quite a premium to get it. I appreciate it, though. I appreciate teams that go whole hog. I appreciate teams that go all in. They think we have a chance to win. We're going for it. Not enough teams, especially in other sports outside the NFL, not enough teams do it. So I appreciate the Colts doing that. One final note here from Mark B regarding the Breece Hall thing. The flip side of the Breece Hall thing is that the Jets front office, such as it is stupid. They now get nothing for him. Yeah, no, that's fair because they're going to let him walk at the end of the year. They've got a big, deep running back room they're going to rather play with instead. So I don't really understand the Jets staying hardline on that. I understand why the Chiefs did a little bit more than why the Jets did. A couple other quick moves from around the NFL on trade deadline Tuesday. The New Orleans Saints have traded offensive lineman Trevor Penning to the Los Angeles Chargers for a future 6th-round pick. The compensation doesn't matter. Trevor Penning's one of the worst players in the NFL. I would argue 2 of the worst players in the entire league both got traded today. Trevor Penning is horrible. Mozzie Smith is horrible. And horrible relative to their peers in the NFL. I'm not saying these guys are bad athletes or something, or relative to you or me are bad football players. Relative to NFL peers, they stink. Both of them got traded today. The Seattle Seahawks dance team, they got Rashid Shaheed. I don't know what his official thoughts on this move were. He should be thrilled. I like Shaheed a lot. Seahawks, man, they might be the best team in the NFL right now.
He loves the fact that a deep threat for...
He should.
I think he's leaning more into his quarterback now.
Darnold is one of the guys.
You give Darnold a deep threat like that?
Derek Klassen of The Athletic refers to Darnold and guys like him as honorable quarterbacks because they're not dropping back and doing little chintzy bubble screens or running nothing but mesh or check down Charlie. No, they're slinging it. I like quarterbacks that are slinging it. Jordan Love on my favorite team. Sam Darnold, Geno Smith before he turned back into a pumpkin. Dudes who are out there slinging it. Josh Allen before he kind of toned things back in the last couple of years. Slinging it. That's going to be a lot of fun. Rashid Shaheed in Seattle. The Chicago Bears, they got a 7th rounder and acquired Joe Tryon-Shoyinka from the Cleveland Browns former first-round pick. He's not very good either. Jacoby Myers, he is traded by the Raiders to Jacksonville for 2 day 3 picks this year. He wanted to be out so badly. He was just asked in an interview 2 weeks ago, do you still want to be traded? And he said, oh, yeah. He really wanted to get out. Also, Dallas made one other move. They add linebacker Logan Wilson for a 7th-round pick from Cincinnati. Spencer!
So before we get that, funniest thing yesterday, Jerry Jones was telling the assembled media that they have made a big trade. Or we're making a big trade in negotiations to make a big trade. We later today find out, I'm assuming he's talking about Quinion Williams.
Sure.
But the first trade that came, they traded a player from the worst defense in the NFL.
Yes. No, you're right about that.
It was just funny this morning seeing everything, but later on, they got a pretty good player.
Yeah, but very funny, though. The optics of it were hilarious. Yes. All right, Spencer, what's your first headline or set of headlines for us today?
Yes, first set of headlines for me. I'm going to get all the Royals headlines out of the way here. Royals Alec Marsh, who missed all of last season, he is going to be out yet another season. He's going to miss out or be out for most, if not all, of 2026. He underwent a labrum surgery. Probably going to miss the whole season. It's a year-ish long rehab process. Obviously, you look back at what he was able to do during the Royals playoff season the last 2 years ago, or not this past season, but the season before. That sucks because
big bummer.
He's a guy that could be a 5th starter if you need him when somebody's hurt. If you need him to come in, that's tough. Royals also placed right-handed pitcher Kyle Wright on outright waivers. He was coming back from multiple surgeries. He hadn't pitched for the club, and they thought maybe if they were in contention at the end of the year, maybe they could get him. They could bring him up, but unfortunately they didn't. So he is one of KC's non-tendered candidates in the final year of arbitration. So he's likely gone. And then their assistant pitching coach, not hitting. They'd be probably happy if their assistant hitting coach left.
Well, they all did. They're all gone.
That's true. They all did.
They did.
Their assistant pitching coach, Zach Bove, I believe is how you say it. Bove. He's heading to Chicago to the south side as he has been named their major league hitting coach.
Dude, Chris Getz is so shameless. Just if you're a former Royal, he is interested in bringing you to his current team, the Chicago White Sox. That's a real bummer for Alec Marsh. He wasn't lighting the world on fire in 2024, but he was
a serviceable starter.
Yeah, pretty decent for a 5th starter. In fact, he had some moments where he looked quite good during the course of that season. So it's a bummer he's going to end up missing the better part of, if not entirely, 2 seasons in the prime of his career. That really sucks. A couple other quick NFL notes for you today. The Arizona Cardinals, they are sticking with Jacoby Brissett at quarterback, not going back to Kyler Murray when they take on the Seattle Seahawks this coming week. This comes less than 24 hours after Brissett led the Cardinals to their first win since mid-September. They went winless in October. They beat the Cowboys 27-17. By the way, since I'm also a YouTube TV subscriber, I did not get to watch a single second of that game live last night. I watched the KU game instead.
Yeah.
But they re-air any game that airs on cable. They air again on NFL Network as soon as the game is over. So I just watched it late. It was like watching on tape delay back in the day.
Well, you love to stay up late. I saw that coming on, and I was like, I don't know.
So after the game, Jonathan Gannon, head coach of the Cardinals, was asked if Brissett would stay on or if it'd go back to Kyler Murray, who is returning from a foot injury. Gannon said Murray would get the job back and said, quote, "It's just how I feel." But he reversed course today, giving the nod to Brissett instead, and essentially said, look, this is partially performance, but it's also because of Kyler's health. And I just like where the offense is going right now. Now, Adam Schefter reported that sources indicated to him Murray and the Cardinals have consulted with multiple doctors about his foot and have been told the timetables for recovery have been anywhere from 4 to 8 weeks with an increased chance of a setback until it's properly healed. Bro, just quote the agent directly. That is so obviously Kyler's agent trying to save face in this point. I like Kyler Murray. I still think, and you can tell me I'm stupid if you think, and well, I mean, you could probably tell me that for a lot of reasons. I think that there is a different offensive system potentially that he would fit better in. I don't know that what the Cardinals are running work for him. Their run game has been bad, and we know how crucial that is to his success as well. Brissett's another one of those guys. He's going to rear back and rip it. And that's probably fitting a little bit better for him than it is for Kyler at this point. So I'm a little surprised Kyler didn't get traded today. Not super surprised, but like 10% surprised. I really thought somebody would make a call on him. Also,
hey, one other thing about Kyler Murray. Yeah. Do you remember the this is a funny aside. It doesn't need to happen, but do you know what the joke was years ago about his contract?
About how they should put in it to not play video games?
Yes. Do you know what comes out next week?
I'm going to guess Call of Duty.
The new Call of Duty Black Ops 7.
They put out a new one of those games every single year?
Of the franchise Call of Duty, yes. So it goes back and forth between like Modern Warfare, and then they change names, and then Black Ops, because Black Ops 1 came out in like 2012. So
Brother, trust me, I was in high school. I remember when that one came out. I didn't play it, but I remember when it came out.
No, it came out like 2010 or 2011 because I had it in middle school.
Great. Yeah. Other note, NFL adjacent. Tom Brady cloned his dog.
Sickening.
Yeah, this is real messed up. Tom Brady says his dog is a clone. That's right. The 6-time Super Bowl champion and current Fox broadcaster said Tuesday in a statement that it was cloned by a company he is an investor in, and that his current dog, Junie, is a clone of his late dog, Lua. Brady made the announcement on the same day that Colossal Biosciences, a venture capital-backed biotech startup, made the acquisition of another animal cloning firm, Viagen Pets and Equine. Colossal's aim is to fix extinction, among other goals, and is said to be valued at $10 billion. This is their first major acquisition. Brady said in a statement, quote, "I love my animals. They mean the world to me and my family." It's funny, his family doesn't mean the world to him, ironically enough. "A few years ago, I worked with Colossal and leveraged their non-invasive cloning technology through a simple blood draw of our family's elderly dog before she passed." I would not be, bopping around in God's domain here. That's not personally something I would do. I would not infringe on that space. But, Tom Brady cloned a dog.
Weird.
Yep. Extremely weird.
I don't have anything else to say about that. I don't want to. That's just weird.
Skeletor looking weirdo. All right. Any other headlines for you today?
Yeah. We didn't hit on K-State women, did we?
We did not.
K-State women get their opening game win over Omaha, 100-35 last night at Bramlage, and leading the way. Let me pull up the correct box score here. There it is. For Kansas State was Zelia Arenas off the bench. She scored 18 points in her debut for the Midicats, 15 points for Terrence Sides, 12 or 13 points for Jordan Spicer. For Anaya Foy. 12 points for, I don't know if I'm going to say her name right, Nastia Claessens.
Say it with confidence, and you're right.
11 points for Janessa Cotton, and that winds out the double-digit scores. They are 1-0. They will go on the road and take on SMU Saturday at 4 p.m.
The KU women, they'll start their season tomorrow against Kansas City. A couple quick texts I want to get to here from the text line. One from the 316. Kyler would be great in flag football. I get it why he gets ragged on. I do. I still think he's a good player, but is he going to win you a Super Bowl? Yeah, probably not. At this stage, probably not. From the 785, next will be Jurassic Park for Tom Brady. Yeah, it's sure. Why would you want this? Like, I understand. I love my dog living at my parents' house. Like, he's getting up there in age, but like,
dogs are like one of a kind things.
Yeah, that's rusty.
They're not meant to transcend generations.
And the 913 to that point is the clone from a clone. Copies of copies don't turn out well in the long run. Yeah, where does it end? Like, is he gonna clone Junie now when she passed away? Because even clones, if I remember, y'all remember Dolly the sheep. Like, clones don't live very long.
Yeah,
generally speaking. I don't really like the idea of interfering in that particular domain, but hey, I guess if I had $10 billion in value, I could do whatever I wanted to. That's going to do it for today. From the 785, is Tom Brady a clone? Looks like it. Oh my goodness, he looks like it. You don't need surgery on everything. I promise you, Tom. You really don't. Buckle fat is okay. All right, we have to get to a commercial break. When we come back on the other side of this timeout, Spencer and I are going to play a little Random Question Tuesday. We'll wrap up the hour looking ahead to the CFP rankings, some final thoughts on KU's win over Green Bay, and a look ahead to K-State's season opener as well. It's all coming up before 6 o'clock right here on 580 Sports Talk. We'll play a little Random Question Tuesday coming up in a few moments. I'll also get to the CFP rankings in a second as well. First ones of the year come out tonight. Brendan Dworzinski, Spencer Dupuis with you on 580 Sports Talk. By request, we had a request from our guy Triple G to talk a little Darryn Peterson, little KU basketball. So we'll get to KU and K-State here before the show is done. I don't think there was anything last night that was like transcendent for KU or for anyone else on the floor. Like, Green Bay is what it is. They were one of the worst programs in the country last season for a reason. I haven't looked at where they slot in at KenPom to start this year, but I'm going to guess it's somewhere in the 300s. And as I check, yes, 334 out of 365 teams. Only 31
Very
teams
bad.
worse in the entire country. Yeah.
Who's last? Just out of curiosity.
Mississippi Valley State.
Okay.
They are ranked last in offensive rating and defensive rating, which is very, very funny. So they are awful. And KU rolled them to the tune of 43 points. Shout out to my guy, Jacob, by the way, Jacob Westendorf. We've had him on the show covering the Green Bay Packers before when the Chiefs have played them. Graduate of UW Green Bay, Jacob, checkmate. But on a serious note here, the only downside with Darryn Peterson, and I know Dan talked about this earlier, I don't know what the heck's going on with the cramps. I don't really understand. I'm not going to pretend that I'm a doctor and I know exactly what's going on here. It's very weird.
Get him all the mustard packets he needs.
Yeah, I think it'll get taken care of.
Can he get an NIL deal for mustard packets?
Yeah, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Some pickle juice. Yeah, he'll end up being all right, I'm sure. I hope anyway. The most important thing is the fact that every single game he plays in this year, he is going to be the best player on the floor. The only exception, arguably, will be the game against BYU. It is criminal that they are only going to play one time this year. There should be one game at the Marriott Center in Provo. There should be one at Allen Fieldhouse. Those teams deserve to play each other twice. Peterson versus Dybonsa should be happening twice this year. It's frustrating it's not.
It might happen twice
Big 12
this
tournament,
year.
yeah.
The Big 12 Tournament Championship. Call my shot right now.
It should be at Allen Fieldhouse, though. Like, there's that game, that matchup should be played at both of those home gyms. It's very frustrating that it's not. But he was incredible. The way he is able to get to his shot, he moves so fluidly that it makes it look like everybody else is slow almost. He's got a bag. I don't know that he's going to be an elite shooter, but he's good enough. He's better than good enough, frankly, and he can shoot from different angles. It doesn't have to be, it's not like DeJuan Harris. He doesn't have to be wide open, no one within 2 zip codes of him to put up a three. He's willing to take it. And it's kind of crazy. You don't see Bill Self give someone the true, pure green light ever, like all the time, permanently. Darryn Peterson has it, which is pretty spectacular to watch.
He also really kind of protects his freshmen, I feel like, where he's not out there saying not wild stuff, but saying stuff about
trying to temper expectations.
Yes, and he's not doing that with Darryn Peterson.
They mentioned that on the broadcast. I don't remember if it was Stephen Davis or Nick Baugh on the TV broadcast who said it, but yeah, this dude is different, and every single game that he plays, he is going to be the best player on the floor. I would take Peterson over Dybonsa. If you want to take vice versa, that's totally fine. I'm obviously inherently biased, but I was impressed. Flory Badunga having a better game, that was really important as well. He was not good against Fort Hays. Not that it matters. It was just an exhibition against a team that plays super slow-mo basketball. I like Bryson Tiller a lot. I think there's a lot of intrigue with him. I think he's going to have a huge role for that Duke game coming up a few games down the road. I'm excited to see him against better competition as well against North Carolina this week. Lot to like. Melvin Council, by the way, I know this is not a new thought if you're a KU fan. I know this is not a new thought from me because I've said this before. He is awesome. And that is the exact kind of dog that KU has been missing the last couple of years. Someone who's going to fire up his teammates, who's going to play hard-nosed, get downhill, play fast, going to play with attitude. He's awesome. Our guy Triple G says, love him too. Yeah, that is the piece that a piece, NBA caliber talent also. But in terms of attitude and intangible, that is something KU has severely been missing. KJ Adams was a dog to a different degree. He was energetic. He was tough. He was always fighting on the court. I'm not trying to put down a guy like that. But Council's different. The way he plays, that attitude he brings, even if you went back and watched some of the social media videos KU put out during the offseason, during boot camp, all that, him getting in guys' faces, him trying to jack guys up, it's awesome. And KU has needed that badly. And I think him paired with DP, between having a dude who's a vet and a dude who's super young, but also those two skill sets, I think they're going to complement each other really, really well this year. I'm so fired up to watch them. I don't know what I think this team is a high ceiling. Let me start there. I think they have a very high ceiling. I don't know how close they will get to that ceiling, but it's going to be fun. I will tell you that much. It is going to be fun to watch that group play. It'll be fun to watch the Kansas State Wildcats play offense in all likelihood. They had no trouble scoring in their exhibition game against Newman. The downside was they also gave up 90-plus points to Newman, who, not trying to put down an MIAA program, as you obviously know, they were picked 11th by the coaches in the MIAA this year. Probably don't want them putting 90 on you. They shot the ball really well. Probably just an off night with the offensive rebounds for K-State. I understand all those caveats. I'm just saying that maybe there are going to be some growing pains for this K-State team because while defense usually comes ahead of offense when you're getting ready to start a season, it's true in football. It's true in baseball with pitching versus hitting. It's true in basketball as well, especially when you got a bunch of new guys because so much of it is effort-based. You've got to communicate. You've got to get the system down. I understand all of those things. It's probably going to be a learning curve. I would rather have K-State, Spencer, be able to score early in the year and find a way to make the offense work than worry about the defense. I think that will come with time. Tang prides himself on being a defensive-minded coach. Will it work? I don't know. It might not. Maybe it doesn't end up working. But if you had to tell me one of them is going to be a work in progress, one of them they're going to be good at, scoring or defense, which would you pick for which category? I'd rather them be able to score right away because they have sucked up the joint when it comes to offensive basketball for the last 2 years. They need to figure that out. So as long as they go out there and they can run UNC Greensboro off the floor offensively tonight, I will be okay with it.
I just get worried that it comes to a point where there's, at least in non-conference play, you can't, depending on how your games are scheduled and how your guys are feeling, like your offense is only gonna, you can't always score. You're gonna run out of gas essentially at some point, right? Like, so if you're scoring at will, but you're also giving up at will, eventually the water's gonna find its level somewhere, and you lose the game you might not want to lose by like 2 or 3 points.
I guess it depends on what your rotation
But I'm very
looks
bearish
like
on this team right now.
Like, if you're running 7 guys as your rotation, yeah, you're screwed. You're not going to make that work. If they're trying to go 9-10 deep, though, I can understand feeling like this up and down style may help a little bit. Again, I love the addition of Matt Driscoll on the staff as an assistant coach, associate head coach. I think he is going to make a major impact for this team. We've already seen it with what they did in the exhibition games. I'm hopeful that they can be more watchable. That is my goal. That is my goal as someone who is consuming the product. I want them to be more watchable. Yes. I do think they will be. I think they can be. I'm not saying they're going to be a top 4 seed in the NCAA tournament, but when you've got a guy like Haggerty, you've got the ability to get there. They've got to hit that ceiling, but I think they have a higher ceiling because they can actually score the ball this year. Quick pivot before we get to a commercial break. College football playoff rankings. First ones of the year. They come out tonight. I will give you the quick spiel because I have to do it every year. My personal disclaimer, I hate the playoff. I don't like it. I think the format they use to determine the playoff teams is nonsense by just having a bunch of people who are sitting athletic directors and whatnot be the ones who pick this. They are inherently biased. Go back to the computers. You want to do a playoff system? You want to do 4, 8, 12, 24, 50, whatever you want to do? Go to the computers. Go to something that is more objective because these people cannot possibly be objective in what they want to do. It's a bad way to do a playoff system. Can you imagine at the end of the year if, let's say the Cardinals, Spencer, sneak in and they get the 7 seed, or record-wise, they should be the 7 seed in the NFC playoff picture. But, well, yeah, but Cowboys score a lot. The Cardinals' vibes are kind of bad. Cowboys, vibes kind of good. They're kind of fun to watch because they score a bunch. Let's put the Cowboys in the playoffs. You know how stupid that sounds?
Yeah.
And that's what college football does every year. It is mind-numbingly stupid that is the way you determine who is going to make it into the college football playoff. I hate it. I loathe it. They're never going to fix it, and I'm just going to keep being bitter about it. All right. That's out of the way. 5:43, November 4th. I've gotten my disclaimer out of the way. Let's talk shop here. Who would be, if you were the committee, who would be your number 1 team for tonight's rankings?
I don't know, man. Like, I think probably Ohio State.
That's where I'm leaning to. I would put Indiana number 2. I'd put Ohio State number 1. And look, Indiana's awesome. And if you wanted to argue Indiana should go number 1, I'm not going to complain about it. I'm not going to fight against you. They just pummel everybody. They beat the tar out of every one of their opponents. They turned Maryland inside out this weekend. Like, that's what they have been able to do. Dude, Ohio State has given up 2 touchdowns in the first half the entire season, and both were this week. And then after Penn State did that, they just shut the water off. It was absolute destruction of a crappy Penn State team. But
they're lucky they don't have to face Ohio State in the regular season.
Indiana?
Yeah.
Or is Ohio State lucky they don't have to face Indiana?
I don't know, man. I mean,
I'm hopeful. I think everybody is that ends up being our Big Ten championship game. I think it will be.
I mean, unless something happens and somebody missteps, I mean, for Indiana, they got Penn State, Wisconsin, and Purdue to wrap up the year.
Penn State, bad. Wisconsin, Purdue?
Yeah.
Wisconsin, bad. Purdue, rivalry game, but bad. Ohio State's final schedule is Purdue, UCLA, Rutgers, at Michigan. And even if they take care of business in those next 3, it doesn't even matter if they lose to Michigan this year, they're going to get in. That is the game everyone wants to see right now because of that defense and because of the body of work over the history of college football. I'd go Ohio State number 1. I'd put Indiana number 2. That's where I would sit right now. Do you expect any surprises in the poll tonight? There always seems to be 1 or 2 in the first rankings.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think it's tough because there's so many there's teams that are good this year that aren't usually good. Like we I don't know if you were on the show. You weren't on the show. Virginia, not typically good.
Yeah.
They're on Vanderbilt, been good the last few years. Georgia Tech, not typically good. 8-1 on the season. Do they use, I don't know. Like, how do they rate those teams?
I think your top four is going to be the current top four teams in the AP poll as well. Ohio State, Indiana, Texas A&M, Alabama. I think those four are clearly better than everybody else. A&M, battered Aggie syndrome and all that. Maybe you don't believe in them. I think they're really damn good. And I think Alabama's really good too. I think Alabama, frankly, is better than Texas A&M, but that would be my top four, no doubt. I would not be surprised if Texas gets let out. One, because this is a TV product and you're trying to get people to watch the rankings for the drama and then to go on social media and talk about, oh my God, they left Texas off. That's my bold prediction. Texas 13th in the AP poll this week. I think they get left out of the first ranking because, hey, you got to get the eyeballs somehow.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what Mark B says in the YouTube comments as well. The college football playoff system is all about eyeballs and on the product and the money generated thereby. I know, Mark, you're right. And I hate it. I just hate it so much. We have to get to a timeout. Quick round of Random Question Tuesdays up next on 580 Sports Talk. Quick round of Random Question Tuesday before we get out of here. Spencer, what's your question for us today?
When is it appropriate to start decorating for Christmas? Because I think Black Friday, Thanksgiving's over with. You've got your 25 days plus a few of Christmas. Olivia says she's putting the Christmas tree up and decorating while I'll be in Oklahoma next week for Washburn Women's Hoops.
So if it was up to me, at the earliest, it would be Black Friday.
Yeah.
Would not be surprised. And in fact, many years it was December 1st or later. Like, I like Christmas. I enjoy Christmas for spiritual and secular reasons. feel a little Charlie Brown about Christmas these days. Like, okay, what's special about it if you start celebrating it in like early October? That's kind of how I feel about it. My wife likes to put up the tree early and likes to decorate for Christmas early. And after I was kind of Scrooge and the Grinch for several years and was very hesitant to it, and she was accepting of that, I have told her in the last couple of years, when you want to put it up, we'll put it up. I'm not going to argue it. Whatever you want to do in terms of when it goes up, that's when we'll do it. This year is going to have to be a little bit different because we have to plan. We have a soon-to-be 11-month-old who likes to pull herself up on things all the time and grab, and every shelf, every counter, anything on the couch, just pull it off. Everything, every single thing, pull it off, throw it on the floor. So we're only going to be able to decorate about the top half of the tree, top 2/3 of the tree this year. So we got to make some plans for that. But no, I told her whenever you're ready, we will put it up. I think we might do it this Sunday after my parents are coming to visit this weekend. I think we might be doing it after that.
Yeah.
So it'll be Christmas in early November for us. Real quick one for me. So the Yum Corporation, Yum Brands, they own KFC, they own Taco Bell, they own a few others. They are reportedly potentially going to sell their Pizza Hut brand. Kansans, step up, stand up. They're thinking about selling Pizza Hut. It's struggling these days, which means the legendary combination Pizza Hut and Taco Bell may no longer exist if they're owned by different companies. Right. So if you could put two fast food restaurants together in one building, what would be your combination fast food restaurant building of choice?
Oh, that's a good one. How about you go first? Let me think.
I think honest to God, Taco Bell, KFC is not bad. Like I enjoy both quite a bit. And there's a lot at both I would eat. That would be right up there. I would actually argue if I'm going to one of these places, I want to feel disgusting about myself. I'm going to go a combination KFC Burger King. I love the king of burgers.
I'm going to go Chick-fil-A Whataburger.
Okay, see, so you went, our texter from a 785 just chimed in, saying the exact same thing. See, you went with like upper class fast food. I want stuff that's going to make me feel like, oh, you're disgusting. You're a pig person. That's what I want my combination restaurant to tell me. Yours is like, oh, nice. You're eating good food. Some other entries here. Mark H on YouTube. He goes with Wendy's and Taco Bell. Classic. Mark B. All right, this is a wild combo. Not bad. Wild combo. Subway and Popeyes. I haven't had a Subway sandwich in forever. My quick story. My wife's going to hate that I'm sharing this. So my wife used to eat Subway a lot, and she would always complain about her food. I'm like, why do you keep getting something you don't like? She's like, I do kind of like it in theory. And I ask, okay, well, what do you get? And she would say, whatever sandwich, and then vinegar on it. I was like, so what's wrong? She goes, well, I don't like the vinegar. Well, then why are you ordering it? She's like, I just want something on it. Well, order something else. I don't understand. So then she tells me recently, we drive by one. I was like, man, I haven't had Subway in years. She says, yeah, me either, after you told me to stop ordering food with vinegar on it. Like, I'm not telling you not to. I just don't understand why you do if you don't like it,
don't order it.
And so I feel bad now. That's something she allegedly wants to eat. She's not eating because of me. I just don't understand why she's ordering something she doesn't like. So sometimes you just throw your hands up and say, I'm not going to figure this out.
Give me Jersey Mike's Raising Cane's, because the Jersey Mike's or the Raising Cane's sign is now up on Wanamaker.
I know. So exciting. Two other quick ones. Vance on YouTube says Wendy's and Baskin Robbins. That's a good one. From the 785, McDonald's and Long John Silver's off the board for that one.
Ugh.
We have to pay a couple bills. We'll be back. We got a final word coming up on 580 Sports Talk. We're wrapping up 580 Sports Talk real quick. Final word, Spencer Dupuis.
Yeah, prove me wrong, Kansas State men's basketball. Prove me wrong. Jerome Tang said they weren't playing the exhibitions to win, so prove me wrong and blow Greensboro out of the water tonight, and maybe I'll think differently about your squad.
Final word for me is about KU. Last night, you beat up on Wisconsin Green Bay. They stink. They're bad. We all knew that going into the game. But Darryn Peterson looked fantastic. He was absolutely phenomenal. Florida Badunga looked better. Again, I like Bryson Tiller a lot. I like Melvin Council a lot. I still don't know exactly how good this team is going to be this year, but when you've got guys like that who are leading the way, the ceiling is certainly higher than we found out last year's group would be. There's no doubt about that. We'll have K-State basketball on our airwaves tonight. We'll be back tomorrow from 3 until 6. We'll talk plenty of Chiefs. Tim Fitzgerald will join us and so much more. That's tomorrow from 3 to 6. For Dan, for Spencer, I'm Brendan. You've been listening to 580 Sports Talk.